Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid-South Wrestling Review Series. This time for the 22nd of October 2000. Yeah, sure. 1983. And without a doubt, it's easy to see that 83 is rolling right along. As I mentioned in previous audios, my goal is to have 84 done by January 1st or thereabouts. Be done with Mid-South in general by around maybe the middle of January, and then either move on to the Middle Atlantic area or back to Smoky Mountain or any other number of places. Again, my schedule is going to be changing a good bit come the new year. I don't know what that looks like yet. I may be out of commission for a little bit, depending on some challenges, but I will always be coming back here. I will make this the largest audio archive of wrestling reviews and interviews on YouTube. That is the goal. That goal will not change, even if it takes me longer than I imagined. We open with Stanton and Cowboy Lang versus Weingroff and Lone Eagle. The little person run that happens a couple of times a year through Mid-South. I personally don't think that the little people had enough work to keep them going. But the narrative on the story is that they got a couple of weeks here and a couple of weeks there and through different territories throughout the year. Same with the women, actually. I don't necessarily see how that was feasible to keep things going, but then I wasn't looking at their books either. So maybe there are parts of that I do not understand. I'm totally cool with that thought and that belief that maybe, in fact, there are parts of that I am unfamiliar with. But anyway, that it turns into a basic comedy sketch with those particular deals, and not that there's anything wrong with that. There certainly is not. But at the same time, you kind of have the run-of-the-mill basic stuff here. And certainly, I think bringing women in, bringing Andre the Giant in, bringing the little people in, and all of those sorts of things were just there to give variety to a sport that, you think about it, going all the way back to the 40s and such, needed something different here and there. And so we'll get into the broadcast now. I just wanted to point that out as we move forward. And, again, Cowboy Lang, pretty well known. Lone Eagle, not as well known. Of course, Little Tokyo, Little Beaver, Haiti Kid Jr., those type of people are here, and it's there. Stanton and Cowboy Lang, I guess, would be kind of a weird pairing. Stanton's relatively a new enhancement talent, and Cowboy Lang is a pretty regular little person talent. And Lone Eagle, as mentioned, not really a guy that I've seen a lot of. Weingroff has been around for a while. Kind of a guy that they're building, but not really. He gets a few roll-ups. Stanton is relatively new. And then we see kind of the dodge with the little people, big backdrop back in, obviously, little people against little people, and full-size folks against full-size folks. The highlight on the little people is not as large. There's a butt by the heel little person, and that distraction, or the babyface and that distraction, kind of breaks the monotony of the match. They do the little people do their spots, side headlock takeovers and basic spots, but also the comedy deal that involves the referee, among other things. And for the most part, it's the same thing around every time. Cowboy Lang probably gets a little more out of things than the average little person does. I think he could have been, I don't want to say a full size star, but at the same time, I think he could have been more of a talent if he had more size to him. Chief Little Eagle or Lone Eagle hits a few hard shots and in the corner, and the little people are given a good chance to sidestep and all of that. The attempt is there. The referee breaks things up. Multiple referees. I don't know if it's because of or there is not multiple referees. It looked like there was just the angle that I had that at the moment. But Little Eagle hits a kind of a slingshot. Then they do the second slingshot into the groin of Statton, and ultimately the baby faces get the victory here. So we move forward from there. Art Cruz and Leaping Lanny Poffo. Poffo hasn't really found much of an angle here yet. And we kind of see some tie-ups early. Again, Poffo more athletically gifted than average, one might say. He does a bit of a roll around, goes into the arm bar, and back to the side headlock. He's always in motion. Very good thing about Lanny is you don't really have to worry about him getting lazy in the ring. He's not that type. And plus, he prefers the motion-based matches, for lack of a better term. Poffo hooking up and goes again back to the armbar. His adversary, Cruz, doesn't really get a lot out of it. O'Connor rolls him up 1-2 and doesn't get all he wants on it. Poffo continues to move through the match relatively assertively, and we see the backflip what we would come to know as a moonsault by Poffo again for the win. Tony Torres and Nikolai Volkov. Torres has been around the area for a while, on and off, more off than on as of late. I think this is the first time we've seen him in quite a while. But it's here. And you see punches, kicks, and basic power moves by Volkov, choking out and all of that. Really basic stuff. He doesn't need to do more than that. And I think that's kind of learning where you're at. Clothesline by Volkov, right under the chin, and tries to choke out his adversary. Short knee by Volkov. And again, we kind of see the nature of everything. Knee to the midsection, and a kind of a deep underhanded throw, and ultimately big backbreaker there. Volkov gets the victory. We move forward again. Neidhart and Reed versus Reed and King Cobra. Obviously, the Reeds are different people entirely. And once again, the tag team champions now are officially Hacksaw Reed and Jim Neidhart. Not necessarily sure that I would have made that decision if it were my decision to make. But then again, I didn't see as much in Neidhart as Bill Watts or other promoters did over the years. King Cobra gets cinched up by, or Butch Reed gets cinched up by King Cobra. Cobra, a little larger than is to be expected. The new tag champs do wear down their opponents quite a bit. Reed comes in up over the hip of Butch Reed, and then we see King Cobra manages to hit some drop kicks under the chin. Butch Reed sidesteps a second drop kick and slows the match down a pretty fair bit. Tag off to Mike Reed, who comes in and tries to take over on Butch Reed. That doesn't work out nearly as well. The Anvil comes back in, and we see a back elbow He certainly is, very aggressive, assertive, Irish whip, and Butch Reed that is, manages a short shot. And meanwhile, the Anvil comes back in and clunks things around, including a Samoan drop for the victory. 1, 2, 3, and we've got successful tag team champions. Butch Reed and Jim Neidhart are your champions. Then we move to King Kong Bundy and Magnum TA. Decent match here, although Magnum TA, your new North American champion, he is a guy who might be in over his head with a guy Bundy's size. At least that's what fans should be thinking. Bundy, very few losses. I think the only major loss I can think of off the top of my head is a couple to the Junkyard Dog on television. But other than that, that's kind of there. So the thought that Bundy could be the next North American champion is a reasonable one. Bundy with a slam and also some shots in the middle. And then we kind of see, a drop kick under the chin by Magnum TA. And again, he gets hit quite a few times with some punches, kicks. Bundy actually takes the match down to the mat hammerlock and the like. And again, you're still trying to get good old Magnum TA over with I guess you'd say as much of a babyface push as you can without squashing guys like Duggan or JYD. Not that it would be squashing if TA did take over, but at the same time, you kind of want hierarchy. It's been in your territory days, and guys are pretty protective of their top spots on the heel or babyface side. A big slam attempt by Bundy. Bundy does take the referee out by proxy, and he's counting to 5. Big shot to the back, almost like a drop kick to the back of Bundy by Magnum TA, who rolls out with a victory there. Then we move to Missing Link and Junkyard Dog. This is about as basic a match as you can get. The Link, doing his gimmick, and you see him kind of get down on the dog, tries to get arm bars and then reverse chin locks. Link doing as much as he can to ground and pound the dog. Knees across the spine and hard shots along the way. And again, big time interference and a headbutt to the back and all of that. Then we kind of see things going a little bit slower as the head to the spine of the Missing Link, kind of almost like grinding the spine in, or the head in, using it as a weapon. But the dog eventually does get a victory out of nowhere. Actually, kind of not out of nowhere, but certainly a surprising victory. After the Link goes to the top rope, and he manages to hit the diving headbutt, but he misses it and drives his own head into the canvas. The dog comes back up with some shots there, and ultimately the dog manages to take quite a few shots. And again, there is a big thump slam, boom, right in the middle of the ring, and dog gets a victory. Crusher Darso against Mike Bond. Darso closing the program. It will become clear within a couple of weeks, probably certainly by the end of the year, why he's given this much television time. But needless to say, Darso using power, kind of wheeling the guy across. A little more aggressive than we've seen in previous weeks. Misses an elbow drop kind of out of nowhere. And then we kind of see Bond get a little bit of momentum, although not enough to really do anything. Still treated like an enhancement talent. Back elbow and a body slam, almost an Oklahoma Stampede in the corner by Darso. Darso not willing to surrender here, and again, we kind of see him off the ropes and dropping the elbow, and it is clear that he gets him up across the shoulders for the backbreaker and a victory there. We will be back with more and the finish of this particular calendar year right after this.